Hey guys, another week, another game dev vlog. This week has been a busy one. I have been working on a bunch of stuff. The biggest thing that took up a lot of time this week was some stuff to do with a project relating to Everybody Edits. And I can't really talk about the specifics on it because it hasn't been announced just yet, but it did have to do with some graphical stuff. Basically, we needed a higher resolution version of the Everybody Edits logo, and because that didn't exist, I had to remake it myself, and of course there wasn't much along the lines of source material, so I had to approximate it and do a bunch of comparisons and minor tweaks to get it to the point where it now looks pretty much identical. But anyway, I finally got that done, and you'll see what that's all about here soon. Now, the other stuff that I was working on this week was mostly to do with the Everybody Edits Reboot server. I've had in mind that I wanted to use C# and .NET Core for cross-compatibility. I'm actually using Visual Studio Code now rather than Visual Studio because Visual Studio just runs slow on my system. It's a memory hog for a lot of people, but with only 4 gig of RAM, that gets pretty hard to work with. Now, the other stuff I had to figure out was how to make a WebSocket server, because that's basically what we need. A common approach is using SignalR. It seems to be a library built around the ideas of fallback methods to other types of connection modes for legacy support, so long polling and these other things like forever frames and such. Just old stuff that I'm not sure we really need support for. But it's also based around the idea of what it calls hubs, which it uses for remote procedure calls. Again, I'm not sure that we need that, and it seems like in order to be able to use that functionality, it's easiest to use their JavaScript library, which seems to be a rather bloated solution, not to mention it requires jQuery on top of it, so I'm not sure that's the direction I want to go, but I'm also looking at other options as far as purely WebSocket stuff that is designed around the ideas that we need, like Fleck. It seems to be a decent solution, but I have seen some people slightly concerned about its performance and about how many concurrent users it can take at a time. And then there's another library that seems to be a little more flexible, more configurable, called WebSocket Listener. It's not the most unique name, but it actually seems to be a fairly decent library. My only questions are, again, how well does it perform? And with any of these solutions, how do I know how secure they are? Like, if I'm going to be making a WebSocket server that's exposed to the web, I want to make sure that I'm using something that is secure. So that's definitely going to be something to research, and I do feel like I am making good progress with this. It's just going to take a little time to figure this all out. I was intending to have a tech demo done for the Everybody Edits Reboot by the end of this month. I don't think it's going to be done by the end of the month, considering the fact that there's only 2 days left after today. By the end of the week, maybe. We'll see. The other stuff that I'm going to be doing here soon will be a small update to Rotate, just something with a few small bug fixes and tweaks. And then another thing that is going to be pretty soon will be some upgrades to my laptop, because, as I said, 4 gig of RAM, well, I'm going to double that. I can, in my system, do 8 gig, and it's not going to cost all that much to do. And I'm also going to be upgrading to an SSD for storage, and what I'm actually going to be doing is using that as my boot drive, probably going to get about a 250 gig SSD, and I'm going to actually use something that Cyril recommended to me, and that is using a certain adapter to convert my optical drive bay into a slot for hard drive. So basically taking my current hard drive, putting it in there, and using the SSD as my main drive. So in upgrading those two things, that should definitely give my computer a huge boost. Now, I'm also going to be getting an external drive to share with Alex, and that's going to be a 2T drive. I'm going to stick it in an enclosure and share that for any backups or just stuff we don't want taking up space on our computers. So anyway, I guess that is going to have to be it for today. That's the basic plan for now. I'm going to be focusing primarily on the Everybody Edits Reboot server stuff. Now, as always, I do want to thank my contributors over on Patreon. If you want to check out my Patreon page for yourself, the link is down in the description below. But yeah, I'll see you around. Goodbye.